you literally made 0 to 5K a month in the first couple of days. So this is Ian. He's one of my top students. He made back-to-back 6K months last month. What do you feel that you did to actually accelerate your progress that quickly in 30 days?
So I would say the best thing that you can do to really accelerate your learning is just take advantage of the other members in the community, see what they're doing.
What specifically did you feel I helped you with?
I would say the number one thing has been there's absolutely zero shortage of offers.
How do you feel, having the elite setters community as sort of like a base, a foundation for you to understand setting at a very, very deep level before going to closing?
Closing doesn't happen without setting. So you need to understand setting in order to become a closer.
What would you tell someone, that's on the fence with working with me?
Everybody is watching this video is thinking right now is, will I make a return on my investment? Okay. I made $0 with the other community, and I made a lot of money with Aiden's community. So I would say, if you want to do setting, just do it and join Elite Setters.
Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to another quick testimonial for Elite Setters community. So this is Ian. He's one of my top students. He made back-to-back 6K months last month. So Ian, can you please confirm your earnings before we go forward?
Yeah, I did make 6K back-to-back months.
Solid, bro. So just tell the viewers a little bit about your background. Just tell them a little bit about what happened before you met me, who you are as a person, what you're doing right now. Just give the viewers everything.
Yeah, so in the past, I had wanted to break into sales, setting primarily just because I know that's kind of the entry point. So I had joined another group in the past and went through their whole coaching and everything, but found that it wasn't very good. I didn't land any offers through them or anything, so kind of was left feeling burned on that one. I talked to some other people and met somebody that was a part of the Elite Setters community, and he had recommended Aiden and to join the community and everything. Said that Aiden had a lot of great offers to connect me with. So I took the plunge and got involved with Elite Setters, even though, my past experience, I was worried, hey, I don't want to get burned again, but it's been nothing short of exceptional. As soon as I got in, Aiden he spent a lot of time with me one-on-one, just making sure that I knew what I was doing, getting me up to speed and everything, talking to me, finding out what I wanted from sales, how much money I wanted to make, and when I wanted to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And after he had gone through everything and he thought that I was ready, then after that, he, had given me a myriad of offers and choices between these offers, and he's on the ball. He always sets me up with interviews and everything, connects me to people, so it really has been great.
Yes sir, bro. So that's like a quick overview of everything that you kind of experienced so far, right? So
yes, yeah.
I want to take it back a little bit. What made you even want to get into setting in the first place? And when you said that you were kind of burned by other communities, maybe you can explain a little bit more on that. So your whole experience before you even met me, go a little bit more in depth on that.
Yeah, before I was doing setting, I was working for my dad. Just, typical between 30 to 40 hour weeks. I was, going to school and everything too. So didn't have a whole lot of time, but I was doing that and decided that really I wanted to do something work from home with a bit more of a valuable skill set. I kind of, forge my own path essentially. So I was looking for ways to do that. And that's how I found the other community that trains setters. And like I said, I had joined that and I got burned. And just to define how, what being burned means to me in that experience was just as soon as I, had kind of forked over the money and everything, it's just all of a sudden I didn't really matter anymore. They never really got back to me. They never, hooked me up with offers despite the fact that they said they would. So they really didn't take care of me. I felt like I wasn't very taken care of. And I met other people that were in that community that have also joined Elite Setters too now that have said the same experience about that other community, and that Elite Setters has given them a way, way better experience, just night and day. But really, I just wanted a more valuable skill set. So sales is something I landed on. I figured it's, I've always thought about it as something that I could potentially be good at, and I've enjoyed it so far. So that's just what I've been doing the past few months now. And, I'm making a lot more money than I was, and I find it more fun.
Yes, sir, bro. The thing about you, bro, is that you were really pretty good at sales when I first met you. I just had to refine your skill set a little bit, right? I hopped on a couple of one-on-one calls with you, make sure that you actually understand dialing at a very high level. And all I did, bro, was literally just connect you with the first offer. I think it's a real estate offer, right? The first one?
Correct.
Yeah. And then you literally made 0 to 5K a month in the first couple of days in the year, 30 days or so. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
right?
I do remember that.
Yeah. So just walk us through a little bit in terms of, your first experience when you encountered me, and also your first experience when you eventually hopped on that offer as well. Tell us your first impressions on ES and how did your first offer go?
Yeah, first impressions on ES, again, it was just really great. Everybody was very inviting. And again, with you, the fact that you took a lot of time to spend with me and just, talking to me, figuring out what I want and everything. That was just a big difference from the last setting coaching thing I was a part of. I just felt like you actually cared about your students and wanted them to do well and everything. Not just because of reputation, but also there's just a sense of authenticity, which is appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as landing my first offer, it was easy as just, once you deemed I was ready, you just had found somebody that had an offer. You said, hey, are you interested in this? You scheduled me an interview. I did the interview, got hired. And from there, it was just smooth sailing. And then you would check in with me, occasionally, see how things were going, how much money I was making, etc., making sure I was still doing good.
Yes, sir, bro. And honestly, bro, like your journey from like literally like $0 a month to 5K in your first month is not something very common in the high ticket space, right? So
Right.
what do you feel that you kind of got from ES, and not just me as well, because some of that is also based on you as well? What do you feel that you did to actually accelerate your progress that quickly in 30 days?
I would say the best thing, well, for me, whenever I was a part of the previous community, I was doing a lot of mock calls and everything, which is something that Elite Setters does too. I would say the best thing that you could do to get up to speed immediately is just, go through the course materials that it provides to you, make sure that you're paying attention to all of that, and then just connect with other members in the community as well to do practice mock calls. Because really the best way to get better at something is by doing it. And you can learn and learn and learn all you want, but until you're on the phones and applying and practicing the techniques you've learned and just your tonality and speaking to other people, dealing with objections, things like that, you're not going to get anywhere. So I would say the best thing that you can do to really accelerate your learning is just take advantage of the other members in the community, see what they're doing is working, and what they're doing isn't working, and then just hop on a call with them, practice, hash it out, and they'll give you feedback. If you do a sales call and you suck, they'll tell you suck, and they'll tell you why you suck, and what you can do better to not suck as much. So that's a really great way to kind of, get up to speed quicker, I would say, is just practice with other people, see what they're doing, and they'll give you, feedback that actually is meaningful. Because real prospects aren't going to give you feedback; they're just going to hang up the phone, right?
Fuck yeah, bro. Yeah, I remember, bro, when we had our first call, we did our first couple of role plays. You improved like way lot, bro. Like from the last time the first time we just met and until now, you're literally like probably like the top, not even like glazing you, bro. Like probably like top 20% of sellers in the info space right now. Like actually, bro, you probably like top 20 to 30%. Like based on the other business owners that I placed you in, they were like, oh, Ian is actually a really good rep. Yeah. The only thing that was like kind of holding you back was your schedule. You were traveling in school and everything at that point. So, that was the one thing that was holding you slightly back. Yeah. But I wanted to touch on school as well, right? So you go to university in Arizona, and there's going to be a lot of people, right? There's going to use this as an excuse. They're going to be like, I'm in uni, I'm in college, I'm in high school. I don't think I got time to do high ticket sales, right? But for some reason, you managed to make this work for yourself. So what do you feel? And what would you tell those guys, bro? Like that says that, I can't do high ticket sales with uni. Do you think it's possible? And how did you manage to balance both?
So I think it is possible. To be completely transparent, a lot of my classes were online that semester, but
okay.
If, right now my schedule is just one class a day from like noon to 1:30. And, some of the people I've talked to in the space say that's completely fine, whatever, it doesn't matter. Plus, what you can do is you can, let's say, for instance, you're in my time zone, which is Mountain Standard Time. You can get an Eastern Standard Time zone, which is 3 hours ahead. And, you can just wake up a bit earlier. I know it sucks, but you can do that. And then, you have more time to dial. Right. And by the time I'm out of class, it's already, 4:30 or whatever in the Eastern time zone, but you can dial until 8 p.m. So if you've got from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., you have a 12-hour window there. If you've got 3 hours of classes or whatever, you still have enough time to make it work. Just find somebody that's understanding of your schedule. And then if you have to work in a different time zone, there's a lot of ways to go about it because sales covers, the whole world. You're not clocking in and out of a job. Generally speaking, you can find somebody that's going to be understanding of your schedule and your situation and, work with you to make it work.
Yeah, exactly. Like at the end of the day, bro, like this info businesses, I would say as long as you hit your KPIs, if you hit the amount of book calls that you need to book, if you close, yeah, you're good, bro. It doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So of course there's gonna be some business owners that are gonna be a little bit like, anal on that. But most of them, bro, I genuinely haven't seen someone who's like super hard-headed on the times that you need to work specifically, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, I mean, props to you, bro, for balancing like, dialing and also school, right? So touching a little bit more about, the community and what specifically did you feel I helped you with, right? So is it maybe like, coaching, direction, clarity, placing you on offers? Like what do you feel you kind of like took the most out of joining ES?
So I would say all of the above, without sounding too generic or like blazing. But I would say the number one thing has been there's absolutely zero shortage of offers. So I would say to anybody listening to this, if you're worried about going through everything but not being able to actually find an offer and start making money, then Elite Setters is the place to go if you want to get an offer like that. I mean, if you need something, he knows people. So it's pretty easy to start getting work and getting the ball rolling. So I would say that is the number one thing.
Yeah, bro.
Which is,
Network is king,
I would
bro.
say the most important thing, right? Because none of it matters if you're not making money.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think you can agree with this as well, Ian. I would say in this space, like your success is, let's say if it's like 100%, right? 40% to 30 to 40% is your skill set, but 50 to 60% is the opportunity that you're on, right? You would agree, right?
Yes.
The vehicle
I
that
would
you're
say
in.
that.
Yeah. If
Once
like,
you know what you're doing,
Mhm.
the rest kind of takes care of itself. It's just about being in the right places.
Exactly.
And doing the same thing every day with your KPIs.
Yeah, exactly. So like even in ES, bro, like do you remember the loom that I got you to send as well? Like there was a specific way. I was very anal about it. I was very anal about your looms.
Yeah, I remember. That was the one where I was outside.
Yeah. So that's the thing, bro. Like we don't just teach you like setting, dialing, closing. We even teach you guys how to, show up to 6-figure, 7 entrepreneurs. Because at the end of the day, think about it. When you're on the interviews with them, you're speaking to high value people as well. So that's why there's a certain way that you have to present yourself, certain way that you have to interview with them to really secure that roles, right?
Right.
Which is something that I actually teach my guys as well. So, maybe you can give some tips to them in the future. Yeah, when it comes to
perhaps that is another valuable thing I completely forgot about is the fact that you won't even send the video over unless you look it over and you know that it's acceptable. That's a big deal too.
Yeah.
Because like you said, the number one thing you can do is be presentable and make sure that at least showcase the fact that whoever's going to be hiring you isn't going to be dealing with an idiot.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah. So like, I want to touch a little bit more about me as a person as well, because you mentioned in the past, you didn't have the best experience when it comes to that previous community. So what was different specifically about me as a mentor compared to your previous mentor?
The difference is that it felt like you existed, I would say, because in the past one, I mean, really, the one that I was a part of in the past, it was like as soon as the money was forked over, it was just like nothing, right? They didn't all of the coaching materials and everything that they gave you, similar to a lot of info offers. It's just like a PDF kind of deal they hand you or whatever. You go through the materials, yada yada yada. The difference is that yes, you have a course workbook or whatever that you go through. The difference is that you schedule these calls with your students once a week to make sure they're going through it, what you had trouble with, and you just kind of rehash everything that was discussed in the workbook and everything. Make sure that you're actually learning at the right speed and that you're soaking in the information, and that if there's anything you have trouble with or any questions you have or whatever, that you are there as a resource to help them. So that's a huge deal. The past community I was part of just sucked. They didn't really take the time to make sure that you were learning or anything. It was just like, okay, we got your money, here you go, be off, and then they didn't take time hooking you up with an offer or anything. You'd be in the Discord asking, hey, who wants to do a mock call, this, that, and the other, because that was a requirement as well. You had to do a certain amount of mock calls.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't get back to you for like 3-4 days, and they're just like, oh yeah, sorry, blah blah blah. Like there's just the support was non-existent, and you really started to feel that. But with you, everybody is super on the ball, I would say, and really just keeping track of their students and everything and what's going on. So
Yeah.
felt like I'm being seen and like my money was spent wisely was a big deal.
I appreciate that, bro. As I said, bro, like when I first hopped on the onboarding call with you, I was like, this is going to be the last investment when it comes to setting, even sales as well, right? Like I genuinely care for my students, bro. I'm sure you can tell as well. It's very different.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. It's very different, right? Like I actually make
Yeah.
sure that you guys. I think I called you out like a couple of times as well, bro.
For what?
Like I think you hopped off the offer or something, and I was like, bro, why? Or like, what happened? And then we had a call. Remember? I think you told me like the real estate offer. I think something happened. Like there was a bit of a conflict,
Oh yeah,
and then
yeah,
I
yeah.
called you. Yeah.
That was a whole situation, man.
Yeah. But yeah, man, like, now, being at where you are right now, making 6K a month, 5K a month, like, how has things changed for you since then, bro?
Well, I don't have to work a job that I don't like anymore, which was, the work with my dad thing. So that's a big deal. Just being able to, without even touching on the money point right now, being able to roll out of bed and do something that, I don't hate is nice. I don't
Yeah.
mind talking to people on the phone. I find it fun. It's every situation is a unique challenge, where you're talking to the prospect and trying to come up with a solution for them. I find that entertaining. I already enjoy talking to people as it is. So the work itself is pretty fun. And then for me, it's like making the big bucks while also doing something that doesn't make me miserable is, it's just like, it's perfect, right? That's not supposed to be an X. That was supposed to be like two things, being good. But, I just, it's nice having the extra money and everything, on top of doing something that I like doing. And, of course, who doesn't love money, right? So, I mean, having extra money to make your life easier, go do things that you want to do and not worry about, if you're going broke or not is nice.
Exactly, bro. And I think you also went to Japan, right? Like a couple of
A
couple of weeks ago. Yeah. And how was it, by the way? Like you traveling and everything while still having that, sort of income in your bank account because you've actually grinded in the last couple of months. Like, when you first came to me, bro, I think you didn't even have more than like 3 to 4K, bro, in your bank account. And now you actually have some.
Quickly. To be honest, I got some money in
You got some money?
But
Okay.
what? Yeah.
But now you have like more savings in your bank account, like from the last couple of months of grinding and everything.
More frivolously.
Yeah,
most definitely.
exactly.
Whenever I was in Japan, I was buying a lot of stuff for sure. I
Yes,
got
sir.
a Vivian Westwood necklace. So
No way, really? How much was it, bro?
It was like $200, but I mean,
Okay.
still, it's like, why not, go buy some.
Fuck yeah, bro. We're gonna get you to 10K soon, bro.
That's the plan, yeah.
But yeah, man. Like, what is the next plans now? Right now, now that you've hit 6K with Dowling, you understand the industry at a deeper level. What is the next steps for you, bro?
Next steps would be to move into closing, start to understand that landscape a bit. Do that because it's high leverage. I can make some more money doing that. So I think that's the most obvious step is to go from setting into closing. And then, like you said, just start to hit 10K months. I would say that's the current plan. And then from there, do that for a while and, kind of see where we can go from there.
Yes, sir, bro. Honestly, bro, I feel like you're going to be a pretty good closer. Like, I'm not even saying this, like, because you're my student, bro. Like, I genuinely feel the kind of vibe that you have, bro. But people are going to, like, give you their vault wallets, bro. Easily, bro.
All right.
Yeah. Bro, I'm going to get you so right with this, bro. Like, we're going to get you to 10K as soon as possible.
Okay.
And again, right, there's a lot of people, that want to get into closing right away, and, they kind of feel like they can skip the trench work of setting, right? How do you feel, having the elite setters community as sort of like a base, a foundation for you to understand setting at a very, very deep level before going to closing? How do you feel like that has given you the confidence and the skill set before you go into that?
Well, I would say to anybody that wants to jump immediately into closing that if you don't walk out of college with the CEO job of whatever industry you're getting into, you walk out of college and you still start at like 60K year salary doing the grunt work of whatever industry you're in, and then you work your way up. You can't. I would say that you cannot really understand closing without understanding settings. You need to understand how the prospect got from point A to point B. So if you're going to be talking to somebody that's already talked with the setter, you need to understand why that person as a closer is sitting in front of you and what the setter did to get them there and what you need to capitalize on with the prospect in order to actually close out the deal, So understanding setting in the first initial stage in that, pipeline is extremely important, I mean,
Right? It's not that bad, right? If you think about it, if you think about it, bro, like Dowling is basically just the discovery phase of closing without actually pitching the price. right? And no objection handling and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At the same time,
There's some objections,
it's
but
not bad,
generally
bro.
they're easier to deal with setting than closing. Because closing, it's like, okay, this is real now.
Yeah.
Either give me the money or you don't. But I would say that just go a pair of balls and do the setting. That's what I would say to a lot of people.
Yes,
Just
sir,
do
bro.
it
Yeah.
for a few months.
And even you, bro, being on Neve's team, like the real estate team, for like a couple of months, you kind of understand the sales cycle at a very deep level right now, right? Just by being a setter. So when you eventually become a closer, it's way better. Really? You were closing as well?
Yeah, so generally I would just set the call and then I would, call them back a few days later to give them time to think about it, and then I would close the call on that offer. So it was a mix of both setting and closing. It's not closing on that offer isn't the same as a lot of other offers because it was cheaper than usually like an info offer with a big price tag or something, and the calls were a lot less time. So it's kind of hard to say that it's the same as closing in like the info space. But yeah, I mean, I don't have any experience with like actual closing, I suppose, but I know that that's a completely different kind of field.
Yeah. But now having that, sort of experience under your belt, hitting back-to-back 6K months as well, it's going to be way easier for you to actually transition into closing and crush it over there, bro. So, yeah, man, like a lot of people, they think they can go into closing right away, but having setting as a foundation, even for like 1 or 2 months, is going to set them up for way better success if you were to just go to closing, right? You would agree, right?
100%. Yeah, like you need to learn all of it.
Exactly.
You need to learn everything that at least comes before what you're doing in the pipeline, I would say.
Exactly, bro. So we actually have like an ascension program as well. Ian is actually joining me. So I've been a closer myself, and I'm going to help him, learn closing at a high level and then transition into, 10, 15, 20K a month, right? This is where the real money is going to come in, right? So I'm excited for that, bro. I'm sure you're excited for it as well.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes, sir, bro. So yeah, bro, just wrapping this up, bro. Like, what would you tell someone, that's on the fence with working with me and getting to setting as a whole as well? Like, what would you tell them? And yeah.
If you want to do setting, just do it and join Elite Setters. Look, I don't know what other communities are out there besides the one I got burned on, but I'll tell you right now that it's been night and day between the community that sucked versus Aid's community, because the difference that everybody is watching this video is thinking right now is, will I make a return on my investment? I have. Okay, I made $0 with the other community, and I made a lot of money with Aiden's community. So I would say if you're on the fence, then you hate money.
Bro, you literally made like a what, times 6 or times 7 times from your initial investment, bro.
Even if you throw the money aside,
yeah,
I have now I have work experience in sales. I know how to do it better, right? So now I'm more valuable. So even if I never talked to you ever again in my life, at least I have like work experience. I can say, hey, I've done sales, for a couple different companies and everything. Like I've done this. I've made a good amount of money. I can do this, So that is also very good.
Yes, sir, bro. And this companies, bro, like this offers that I place you on, like the first one, it's not even a bad offer, but it's actually a pretty good offer, right?
It was, yeah.
It was a pretty good offer as well. So like now you have that experience, bro, in different industries. I think you have closed for like a investment banking offer as well. I'm not close, set for investment banking offer as well, right? Real estate. So now you have all of this experience that you can leverage as a setter to eventually go into closing and crush it over there, bro. So, honestly, bro, like Ian, wrapping this up, bro, like genuinely, bro, I think that you have massive potential. I know the plan for you in the future is to become a sales manager. So, we're going to get you into closing, get you ramped up with that. Eventually, get more leverage as a sales rep, go into management and then manage sales teams, bro. But yeah, man, I'm really excited for your journey, bro. But do you have any closing words for anyone watching this right now? Anything at all, bro?
I guess I would say, yeah, just if you are considering it, I know that people watch these videos and they think like, oh, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But like, I'm telling you, I'm a real human being. I'm not a robot. Okay. I joined the community a few months ago and I made a lot of money. All right. So just join. I guess that's really all I can say. You'll learn a lot, you'll meet a lot of cool people, and you'll get work. So that's really all you can ask.
Yes, sir, bro. I appreciate you, man. But yeah. So guys, this is Ian's journey, right? If you guys watch through the whole thing, I think this is going to be very beneficial for you, especially if you're in school as well. because Ian literally is in university and is doing this at the same time as well. And now he's pacing 8, 9, 10K months, right? So if you guys want to know more about his journey, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to Ian as well, and just ask him a little bit more about what, his experience with me as well, right? So yeah, that's about it, guys. I'll catch you soon in the next episode. All right, peace.